Morning, Fractal Effects team. Before we get started, make sure you read the disclosure in the footer section of fractaleffects.com or even on our YouTube channel. If you're following along with us today, make sure you're doing a demo account, as this is for educational purposes only. We are not financial advisors, and this is not financial advice. Now, keep in mind, this is non-farm payroll week. We had big news drop today. I believe there was 4 red folders that all dropped between 8:30 and 10. So you see all these big wicks back and forth. Now, this is not a day I recommend you trade. This is one of those days you just want to take the day off, do some chart analyzing. But we're going to actually go over the setup here just to show you guys how volatile this can be. So we just got a double break. We just got a double break from US 500. Sorry, 2 double break. Before that, we actually had a nice triangle pattern on both of these, where we were just waiting for the market to drop from here. But it never gave us the setup. Never gave us the setup, gave us this wick, expansion, but then it came back in here and ripped right past it. Now it's stuck at the blue zone. So we've already hit a 4-hour fair value gap. So on the higher time frame, that's the 6 o'clock candle. So 6 o'clock candle, and then the next one is obviously the 10 o'clock candle. We want the 10 o'clock candle to be a continuation. We wanted to see this one reject off the 4-hour wick, and then you want to see that 10 o'clock candle be a driver all the way down into, there's a 15-minute fair value gap down here and 4-hour fair value gaps below that. That's what we wanted to see, not to mention that today is Thursday. Thursday usually retraces back to the weekly range, but we did have a long weekend last week, so every day got shifted forward. But before this double break to the upside, 2 double break, this was setting up to be a perfect drop from here. So now that we have 2 double breaks, we can't trade US 500. That's just part of our rules. Now let's see what happens with NAS. Could just reject off of here and then again drop down, but it's going to have to create a new 5M bearish fair value gap. But after a double break, you get this retracement. And US 500 is stuck right at the NWOG, the new week opening gap. I just want to see it on the 4-hour real quick. I want to see what's up here. Oh yeah, so this is a 4-hour fair value gap. Sorry, it's colored wrong. Pick colors you recognize, so you know immediately this is a 4-hour, that's a 15-minute, etc. So London obligation was met right at NYC open. We had a triangle pattern. What happens with the triangle pattern? We have a retracement, usually back to the first presented fair value gap. Excuse me. And then a push up. So London obligations have been met. The fact that we have a 2 dB on US 500, but NAS does not, means that NAS might not be strong enough to get up there. We'll see. We'll see if it just wants to bounce right off of this blue zone. Right now it's right at a blue zone. The only thing is we have a inside the range pattern or a contraction model as far as the spotlight strategy is concerned. What happens usually when we have that? The market likes to take out both sides, and that's exactly what happened. See, London is inside Asia, it contracted, and then it took out both sides, both the highs and the lows of Asia. So the lows have already been taken. That's when you want to proceed with caution. So technically the juice has been squeezed. And especially when you have so you can't even trade US 500 and the juice has already been squeezed on NAS, it is best to move on. I would like to see a 2 dB here first. That way I know this is done. I'm just gonna, there's nothing else here to take a look at. So I'll just wait to see if this thing actually breaks this high and gives us a 2 dB. We're done. I'm not interested in this anymore. Usually what happens after a 2 dB, the market retraces back to the first presented fair value gap of this dB, so this one, and then continues in the direction of the 2 dB, but that's not a setup that I recommend. The second you see a 2 dB, that is void. So I can't trade US 500. I just want to see if NAS gives me the 2 dB as well. And then if it does, we'll jump over to oil real quick. Tele gives us a 2 dB. NAS is still in play. And again, this is just to show you guys the setup though. This is not a day I recommend you trade, today or tomorrow. You should be taking it off. It's non-farm payroll. Markets are chaotic. It's all over the place. I just wanted to show you exactly what you do get. This is the kind of setups you get. You get 2 dBs, void. This is probably most likely going to head up here for that as well. This is why you avoid trading on days like this. But we will, again, go over the setup just to show you guys. London was actually pretty clean. So that's your first presented fair value gap. It's also the first fair value gap in London that's marked up by the spotlight indicator. So we had a triangle pattern. What happens after a triangle pattern? After that double break, we get a retracement, and that's exactly what it did. It retraced right to that sliver of a green line. That's the first presented fair value gap. And guess what happened right at open? Bang, took out the highs. So it fulfilled London obligations of that double break. Double break means it wants to go in this direction, and it went right into this 4-hour fair value gap, right at open. I actually would have taken this trade if it wasn't non-farm payroll day. Like, this was beautiful. Literally, it couldn't have been more textbook. Started consolidating right here. You had a slight drop and then an explosion right into the 4-hour fair value gap, and it tapped the DSD high. So if it wasn't non-farm payroll, I would have taken that trade. So we are getting a bullish confirmation here as well. But again, it's right into a 4-hour fair value gap. So bullish confirmation stuck on US 500. 2 dB bullish confirmation. Most likely it'll retrace back down to here. This is the first presented fair value gap. Now again, this is not anything we recommend you trade. This is just to show you guys how to read the market translator and show you what it's saying. Let's mark that out. It'll most likely retrace down to here and then maybe head up, but again, on a day like today, nothing is certain. So as it does do this retracement, it could use that opportunity to pull back. Same thing with NAS. That was the first presented fair value gap. So if we get a double break, or even if it just gives us a 5M bearish fair value gap, that might be an opportunity to go back into this area. But right now there's nothing to trade. So as soon as you get the triangle pattern, retracement back to our blue zone, and then a 5M bearish fair value gap set up to go short. So right now this thing is just driving, and as soon as it gives us a 2 dB, or if it gives us a 2 dB, we can't trade this either. This is void. We jump over to oil. But I do expect to drop from this one. I don't, most likely the higher probability is that you'll get that drop, even if it's going to go up. because you have a bullish confirmation. What happens after a bullish confirmation? You get a retracement back into the range. You have a 2 dB retracement, but we're not going to, again, not interested here. Let's see what happens with NAS. NAS gives us a 5M bearish fair value gap. I'd be interested in seeing if it goes all the way back down here, or even the consequence encroachment of this wick. We do have an inside the range buy model, so you want to proceed with caution. This is a good one to take it through your demo account, just to show you guys, one, the strategy and how it actually reads the market, like how consistent it can be, but then two, it is only 80% accurate. That 20%, that's days like today, non-farm payroll. That's days where there's high impact news drivers where the market's going to do what it's going to do. They use those days as a smokescreen to reprice the market. So far, we're getting that immediate rebalance. Expansion met with expansion. That one expanded up, wicked. And now let's see if this one engulfs this completely. That'll be expansion met with expansion. And then let's see if it gives a 5M bearish fair value gap. It's like this one is still technically telling a consistent story. But since you do have this 2 dB, this is as low as I see it going. If we even get that 5M bearish fair value gap. 1 minute left. There's a little sliver of a fair value gap down here. So if this closes over it, that's even more cadence that this is going to push down, giving more cadence to that story. But that's the fair value gap. That's the first presented fair value gap. 37 seconds left. Let's see if we get that bearish 5M fair value gap to actually show this thing wants to drive down. US 500 can't trade it. 2 dB right into a 4-hour fair value gap with a bullish confirmation. That's void. But let's see if it retraces back into this fair value gap, allowing NAS to pull back into this as well. 11 seconds. I want to see it close under here. Let's see if it's truly an engulfing candle. Yeah, not really. But anyways, let's see if we get that 5M bearish fair value gap set up, or if this just continues driving up. Could use this blue zone to reject off of it. So this next candle is going to tell us a lot. If it violates this fair value gap, it's most likely heading down to this fair value gap. Otherwise, if it continues to drive up, it'll give us a 2 dB and we're not interested. Just patiently waiting. Still just gesticulating there. Driving up. Just a waiting game. Remember, I'm not interested in buying. I'm not interested in buying NAS right now. We have a double break to the downside. Even though we swept out Asia lows, the story is still a triangle pattern to the downside. Today's Thursday. Retracement back to the weekly range, which is way, way down there. But I'd like to see it just take out this low. So if we get that 2 dB, that's it. This is void. Gotta follow the rules. While it's taking its time, let me just jump over to oil real quick and see what oil is doing, if it's telling a more consistent story today. Also looks like it's downside expansion model, double break, retracement. What was the first presented fair value gap? Pretty much somewhere in here. Came back, tapped it, dropped. So the London obligations have been met. London sometimes offers the cleanest session. There's just less manipulation happening during this time. It's just if you can stay up and trade it, good for you. So we have no break currently, but we do have a sell model with a downside expansion model. So as soon as this thing pops up, that'll be the first break up. That's the manipulation move. Let me check 4 hour real quick. We'll jump back over. Is that the daily? It's this daily fair value gap. Got rejected off of hard. As far as the 4 hours go. No 4 hour fair value gaps in here. This one's been tapped. What about to the left? Let's mark out this level here. Remember, it's highs and lows that you're marking off. We've already taken this low. So we've taken this low, we've bounced hard off of a daily fair value gap. This thing could push up. Got to proceed with caution. Just going to switch back over to NAS for now. NAS is now above all the blue zones. So again, when you get expansion met with expansion, you can actually take this order block, zoom in here. That's the high. That's your order block. We're well above 50% of it right now, so let's see if the market pushes past this order block. Or drops below it. Right now we're below it on the 1 minute. So still waiting. Can't do anything with US 500. I just know that there should be a retracement coming after this confirmation. Was there a fair value? I'm just going to zoom in here. Yeah, so there was a fair value gap that was left in here as well. But US 500 is not able to help us right now. That's void. Now let's see if NAS wants to follow in suit right here and give us the 2 dB. Just got to reiterate one more time, do not be trading non-farm payroll week. This is the week you should be off, but we're just walking you through this just to show you guys how to read everything. Because this saved, excuse me. So if you're somebody who trades US 500, you know, the second you see this pattern, this is void. You can't trade this. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry, guys. Excuse me. So yes, second you see this pattern, you can't trade this anymore. Now all the eyes fall onto NAS. Is NAS going to follow, give us a 2 dB and also be void? Or is it going to give us that 5 amp bearish fair value gap and drop into this fair value gap right down here? We'll find out soon enough. It's not that far off from here to here. Right now it looks like it wants to push up. But that doesn't mean much. This is a 4-hour fair value gap up here. It could just hit the DST high. Did we? I just want to see how deep we dug into the DST high. Just barely tapped it, so could be heading to the consequence encroachment of it. But this is also an area you want to be cautious. Anytime you double break or get a bullish confirmation into a higher time frame PD, it could easily just reject and reverse. Remember, it's only a buy model until it's not. It's only a sell model until it's not. Until it hits that higher time frame PD array, the 4-hour fair value gap, the daily fair value gap, or it takes higher time frame liquidity, the highs and lows on a 4-hour or a daily, you're done. Like, it's completed its mission. Even if that mission really was, I got a bullish confirmation and it was 2 pips to hit that thing. That's it. It's done. Bullish confirmation, double break, it's done. So that's why you want to proceed with caution. That's why there's a chance both these could just drop. So we're technically getting a power of 3 here. Not enough candles yet. I'd like to see at least 5 candles to see if this is a power of 3. Consolidation, manipulation, distribution, 1, 2, 3, 4 candles right now on the 5M. But usually a consolidation does lead to a continuation after that manipulation. So there's actually more evidence that this thing could just continue pushing up. Just got to proceed with caution. You got to trust the rules. I had one of our students message, and it said anybody who was joining us yesterday, there wasn't really anything to trade, and that's what we called. And I had a message from a student who said even after that he thought he saw a pattern, and ended up taking, I believe it was, he took a buy. He took a buy when we had already called it and said there's nothing to trade here. And the market crashed on him. So he ended up with the loss. You got to listen to the rules. The rules dictated there was no trade setup. So you can't just see patterns Patterns without a plan or a strategy are nothing. They mean nothing. That's how you get something like harmonic strategy. Harmonics is absolute garbage. Bat patterns and whale patterns, none of those make any sense. Even people who love to trade ICT, I've said this before, ICT is one of the people that have the fundamentals down right. His concept of PD arrays is accurate, but his lower time frame analysis is still based off of more or less pattern recognition than it is off of mathematical fundamentals. He probably couldn't tell you what these blue zones are and why they work. He hasn't incorporated these rules that let you know that this is a void trade. There's no strategy on the market right now that has it right. There's no other strategy on the market right now that is this accurate. As soon as we take this high, I'm actually not interested. It'll most likely continue pushing up then. But as mentioned before, we don't trade that setup right now. This is telling me that it wants to drop. Here's the other thing too, right there. We have a lot of boxes set up, but let me just get rid of these for 2 seconds. There's the DSD high for US 500. So even though you have a double break and a bullish confirmation, it could just tap that and drop. Same thing here. This could give you a quick tap up here, which would give us a 2 dB, which would avoid this, but then it could just drop. But still, we got to stick to the rules. You want the setup to be, excuse me, you want the setup to be exactly what you want. It's Burger King. You want it your way. US oil just gave us a confirmation. I'm just going to jump over there real quick, see what's happening. Ain't nothing happening here yet. This should have gave us. So we got a bullish confirmation and most likely a break to the upside. So this is a conflicting story right now. 1 second. So we're getting a conflicting story right now. This is a bullish confirmation. There's an 80% chance that the bottom of this will not be broken, but yet at the same time, this is the manipulation move up. Remember, we have a sell model, downside expansion, and we have not hit any higher time frame PD. There's your DST high, right into this 4 hour. There's your DST low, right into this daily. But I cannot sell this market. So I actually have to wait for a double break. So I don't want to take this sell, even if it gives me a sell setup, I don't want to take it. I want to look for a double break. Just going to wait. Till then, let's switch back over to NAS. NAS took out this high, so it's most likely going for the DST high. But again, that's not something I want to trade. I wanted to see it drop. US 500 now at the DST high. There's also a 15-minute fair value gap in here. I'm going to get rid of that one. We don't need it anymore. There goes NAS for that run. So US 500 just tapped the DST, hasn't actually run into the midpoint yet. I'm going to get rid of this. Let's see if it does. Looks like NAS is making a run for it as well. This is why you want to proceed with caution. You can always have one asset hit that target and then just fold and drop. As soon as US 500 hits the DST high, NAS doesn't technically have to. Let's check out oil. So oil still waiting for that double break. Just want to check US 30 as well. I think US 30 had a double break to the upside. We have a bullish confirmation. Remember, it's right into a 4-hour as well, right into the DST. So triangle pattern upwards, double break. So could come back into here before pushing up. Still just gesticulating there. Not really giving us much. About 20 minutes left in our feed. We'll call this one early as soon as we take this high. If oil has not given us a double break, we'll call it there. Let's take the POC, point of control. That's the high. That's the low. There's our POC right in the middle. This is where most people went long from. So look at this. This is interesting. People going short from here. Let's move this POC. Same thing, people going short from here. Two minutes 41 seconds left. Remember, we do not have a double break, a 2dB, sorry, to the upside here yet. So that means if this gives us a 5M bearish fair value gap, we're still looking to see if it'll go short here. Just got to remain patient. Could just drop from here. One minute, 20 seconds left. I want to see another candle print and see if this leaves the 5M bearish fair value gap, which we're going to use as a foothold to get down to here. Keep in mind, today is non-farm payroll week, today and tomorrow. Take this in a demo account. This is just for educational purposes. This is not a day we would be trading. 8 seconds left. The reason we wait for that 5M bearish fair value gap is to make sure that it's not just sweeping this low to come back up. Still just waiting. I want to see what happens after this candle prints. So we got that filled in. Did we take out that low? I believe it looks like we did. So it just took out that low, and now it's coming back up. So this is why you wait for that 5M bearish fair value gap. Still not interested here. Even if this was any other day, even if it wasn't non-farm payroll week, I'm not interested. Right now we have a double break triangle pattern to the downside. Still telling one story. I'm still looking for a 5M bearish fair value gap. If it gives me a 2dB, it's void. Simple as that. So either it's going to give me a trade setup or it's going to be void in this next candle or so. But there's nothing about this I want to buy. We're sitting inside of a 4-hour fair value gap right by the DSD high. There's no room to grow here. We want to see a consistent story. This is telling us a conflicted story. Just going to quickly jump over to oil again. See if it gave us anything. No, still just a single break, consolidation, bullish confirmation. I want to see a double break. London obligations have already been met. Let's go back to NAS real quick. Looks like NAS is going for that high. Let's just see. Remember, sticking to the rules means that you're a consistent person. It's almost like you have one path that you take from home to work. Now, if something happens along that path, that's just life. If you deviate from that path and something happens, you're going to sit there wondering your whole life, like, what if I hadn't? What if I just taken the regular path to work? Would this have happened? That's the whole point of rules, consistency, so you can track yourself. There's US 500, already hit the DSD. I believe we just hit the midpoint of the DSD. US 500 void, even though it's all green across the board, we can't trade this. And NAS is still telling us a different story. Nine minutes left in our stream. Let's see if we take that high, or if they both drop from here. Now we've seen this set up, I believe, 2 other times this week where we came so close to taking a high, but then everything dropped. Within pips of taking a high, and then the market drops. Let's see if we get that today or if it actually pushes through. US 500 about to take another high here, this green line. I'm assuming that's probably like a 4-hour high. The fact that this has already hit the DSD high, they both could just drop from here. There goes that high. Excuse me. Here comes NAS. Check oil again real quick. Just a bunch of consolidation still, nothing. Sometimes you'll get that, especially on non-farm payroll. The other reason we don't trade it, you'll see these big moves when the news drops, and then the rest of these are just like small anemic candles. Just a whole bunch of nothing right now. So this is our last 5M candle. We'll conclude after this. US 500 sitting right at the DST consequence encroachment, rejecting. It's technically delivered. They could both drop from here. The fact that NAS never took that high, or has not taken that high yet, this late in the game, no bullish confirmation, no double break, no 2 dB, there's a chance that it could drop, but again, we wouldn't even be interested unless we see a 5M bearish fair value gap created first as a foothold to climb down. And or it could just swipe up and give us that 2 dB here, and it's done anyways. So this late in the game with no room for growth, this is not even a trade setup we're interested in. So it doesn't look like we're going to get that bearish push. We'll see if this actually takes this high though. Second we get a 2 dB, this is void as well. Because remember, these trade setups should look easy. You only want to trade the market when it looks easy. Obviously, you're not going to find easy setups in non-farm payroll week, but regardless, even if this was a regular day, this is still not an easy trade setup. You don't want to have confluence in both directions. You want this to be telling a consistent story. And that's not what you have today. So the market translator prevents you from even being involved with days like this. Saves you time. US 500 continuing to push up. Two minutes, 55 seconds left in our stream. Looks like it's about to go for that 2 dB. There's your bullish confirmation. It's getting ready. And there's your 2 dB. So this is void as well. So we'll conclude our session there. So tomorrow, again, non-farm payroll. Stay out of the markets. Come back, take a look to see if you did get that a triangle pattern or if it was a 2 dB in a specific direction. Did the trade setup actually happen? That's cool. Come back and actually do a back test. But do not be trading tomorrow, especially if you're a beginner. It's going to rip your face off. Take the day off. Please check us out on fractaleffects.com where we teach high probability trading. We're live Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So we'll see you guys next week. Have a great rest of the weekend.